Behind this mask is the face of a friend and a lifelong partner in your war against Kingpin.
So I want to talk about some really dumb scenes, and then hopefully we will get into this coming up.
Tell me what you like. Can you give me something you liked?
Oh, I can.
Okay.
I can give you some stuff. Most of it... No, one of it... Okay, so the best scene in the show is the Punisher scene.
Yes.
Punisher enters.
Yeah.
There was one or two wonky lines I didn't like.
But I do not have time for your candy-ass hero shit.
But for the most part, it was pretty spot on and good.
Well acted.
He talks to you, doesn't he? Hear his voice. You do, don't you?
Very well acted, and I think that's a tribute. Like, if it wasn't well acted, I could maybe be like, but Charlie Cox's acting in that scene, in particular, he felt like he was really a broken man at that point.
He got life! How about old Foggy? He got life.
But all it did was remind me that we skipped over all the bits that would have been interesting, where we should have seen him being broken. Like, there's a whole year skip after that Bullseye fight.
Right.
And we miss all the good shit.
Yeah.
We don't get to see him maybe going into see your father, or how he's dealing with this spiritually as a Catholic.
That's why I think it was clearly bolted on.
Like, that's important, and we glazed right over it.
Yeah.
The death of Foggy. Why does he feel? Is he just going off of Foggy's wishes to not be Daredevil? Was there a promise made there that I don't remember? But I mean, he was Daredevil for like 10 years.
Right.
This is not like something new. Like, I don't even.
How old are they supposed to be in this show? That is something.
I think I read that this is like 7 or 8 years since season 1 started.
And
so
they were supposed to be pretty fresh out of law school.
Yeah.
And that, even though they were about 10 years older, or at least the actors were.
Right. Yeah.
Than they would be in that scenario. So that's where it's kind of left me.
So I would have appreciated a lot more scenes. And once again, like the Catholicism stuff, even though it's like a cornerstone of Maddie's character, at least from the old show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming in the comic books that's all there too.
For sure. That was
but
another
like
Frank
here,
Miller.
it's just like non-existent.
Yeah.
Like there is one scene where he sits down in a courtroom, and it's shot and lit that looks like it's a church.
Right.
And I'm not sure why it just wasn't a church to be like. Why not have that scene as a why? Maybe you could say like, oh, he's looking at the courthouse as it's his only source of belief now.
Right.
And now even that's crumbling apart with how things are going.
Right.
You know, but this all feels like stuff Maddie's already dealt with as Daredevil. Missing out on the death of Foggy, it feels like missing out on that scene where we see Luke reacting to Han's death in Last Jedi. They cut that. They had it, and they're like, we shouldn't have this in here. And then they cut to Luke sucking out that green milk titty. And it's like, what are these creatives doing? This important shit that's really important to characters that we like, don't put that in there.
You can tell that they're hired guns and not like people who are writing the character because they love the character or because they have a history with the character.
Well, I think the time skip is just
they want to tell with the character.
I think the time skip is just because they wanted to just do like a fresh start. We got all these boring new characters that the show is acting like, oh, these guys are just as important as Karen and Foggy, even though Karen and Foggy are basically not in the show.
Right. But they should have done a full reboot.
Who's this PI guy? This PI guy, this fixer guy that they have. His name's Cherry.
Cherry.
He knows Maddie is Daredevil.
Yes.
Who the is he?
No idea.
Where did he come from?
No idea.
Remember in season
not off during episode 2? Maybe I missed that.
There's no formal introduction. Like he's like, oh, he's a retired PI that just happens to know Matt. They're friends with them all. But like in Daredevil, those were big scenes when Karen and Foggy find out about Daredevil and Maddie. Those are really good scenes.
Right.
Go rewatch them. They're really good. Yeah. And here it's just like, here's Cherry. He knows everything. It's fine. And he's like a PI.
You at least have to have him have the scene where he calls him out for using the cane.
The cane?
That was a big thing with Foggy. He's like, wait, the cane the whole time?
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
You scumbag.
In that opening scene too, we get one little throwaway line that somebody named the White Tiger exists.
Daredevil, White Tiger, they're the future. We're obsolete.
Right.
Which leads me into my next point. White Tiger's whole court case is a kangaroo court. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Makes no sense. It makes Maddie look really stupid. makes the cops look really stupid. Everyone's really fucking stupid.
Can I add one thing to that?
Of course.
I just want to tag on the stupid thing. Those are all very valid points. But what about being a vigilante who is a street level vigilante who is, as we know, not immune to bullets?
Yeah,
the magic costume.
The magic, and he's just walking down the street in a
Just
costume.
walking
He's just
down the
walking
street.
down a street, and then he gets capped in the head. And I'm like, what does the amulet do then?
How long was he White Tiger? 3 days?
I mean, they're setting up the whole evil police that have like a Punisher cult.
Yeah.
Why would the evil police like the Punisher? The evil police are the ones the Punisher would kill. Right? Does that make any sense? Like, crooked cops wouldn't like the Punisher because he'd be after them. Isn't that really stupid? Or am I crazy?
I
They have like gang neck tattoos.
So with that, I would push back a little bit. I would say there's the classic thing where villains don't usually think they're doing they usually think they're doing the right thing.
That's true. And during this whole scene, there's like this really, I think it's supposed to be tense, where they're getting the Nikki Torres, the witness, and they do the old switcheroo where they act like they're putting him in the van, but really he's with somebody else.
Yeah.
And Cherry is like pretending like, oh, we're getting him in the van, and he drives him. Like, during that, the trial's still going, and then the scene is the guy that was just on the stand is now chasing the van on his bike. And he pulls a gun out and like demands to look in the back, thinking
Right.
that's where that's where they put Nikki. Ta-da! We switched to Rue. He's actually going onto the court right now. So that cop just left the courtroom after. You know what I mean? Like how did that happen? And was he just gonna shoot him right there in the street, the crowded street, in the van?
You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
But he's trying to like cover up the fact that he's a bad cop. The fight. I've brought my complaints many times for the fight scene at the end of episode 2, where he's not even Daredevil. He's just Matty Murdock.
Yeah.
And he beats up 2 cops.
Yep.
And it looks like he breaks the one's neck. Like really, really like they added a neck crunching sound. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Adjustment.
I'm gonna put it on the screen. But when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, he killed him!" And in my brain, I'm like thinking of, "Oh, next episode, how is Maddie going to deal with it? He killed somebody."
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, well, he's just going down a dark path after what happened with Bullseye or whatever." And now he's going to have to deal with the fact that this other cop witness is now dead. And obviously, he's like, "Well, he's got to leave and escape." And then the next episode, the cop's just alive and like mildly threatens him in the bathroom, where he's like, "Oh, blind lawyer," huh? Like, yeah,
Right.
wouldn't that raise a lot of red flags? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I
Strange.
feel like, yeah.
Very strange scene. My theory is that there was a version of that scene where he killed that guy,
Okay.
and they forgot to take out the neck
on.
crunching sound post because it's a post sound effect they added. Obviously,
The intern was
it
supposed to
sounds
do
like a
it.
Mortal Kombat like. It's like, oh, it's
You could hear-
when you hear that, you know somebody died because their neck is gone. I know we're living in a comic book world, but it's fucking ridiculous that Maddie just uses the defense. He didn't have his magic amulet when he was helping the guy, so he has to be innocent because otherwise he would have been the White Tiger.
Okay,
That's a weird fucking defense.
This is an issue though, because are we living in a comic book world or are we not? Because we're supposed to, like, okay, you want us just to be on board. Yeah, magic amulet, White Tiger, cool. We don't need that much backstory. It's the world we live in this story. But then also, like you said, you have Wilson Fisk being like, no vigilantes. We have to keep everything like grounded to this uber degree where people, after the Avengers have saved the world, how many times? Be like, yeah, you know what?
And we don't even know if any of these
vigilantes.
And do we even know
Get
if
'em
any of
outta
these
here.
characters were blipped? I don't know if it's ever confirmed if any of these people were blipped or not.
A great question, actually.
They don't want to address that. That's too complicated.
Well, the Netflix show was in this kind of limbo with actually being how much it was related to the.
It would be too
MCU.
complicated to say that like Fisk was gone for 5 years. Like, although maybe that's how they could have writ Vanessa into taking leadership better. I don't know.
I mean,
But
yes,
then
that would explain and like her moving on, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah. Fuck yeah. Like, yeah,
It was
she moved on, and yeah, it was right there.
And I could buy that even then he would still be pissed about it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's way better. This is in league with another bad scene involving Fisk.
Okay.
It feels like a 6-year-old wrote it. When Fisk is trying to gain momentum in his getting people hyped up for him, he gets stuck in traffic, and he gets pissed off and wonders why there's so much traffic. And he's like, "Why isn't this hole filled?" And
Dude, that's a really good Fisk.
he's like, Hey, Mayor Fisk, we gotta wait for the forms. We gotta wait for the forms. They're being signed. There's a petition and other. The guy just says the whole point of the scene is for Fisk to learn that bureaucracy exists. Red tape exists, and he says, "F all that.
Yeah.
Fill this hole. I'm mayor." And they're like, "Oh, you got it, Mr. Mayor. you gotta fill this hole. God damn it! Tell the people that Fisk is gonna get things done."
But I have never bought that man who seems like he basically, to steal a John Mulaney joke, was in a room eating saltines for the last 30 years. And it's like, how does traffic work? Like the man baby thing, but he's also like the biggest mob boss in the city.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful businessmen in the world.
So
has maintained like this crazy like physical fighting ability, like all this stuff. It does not seem like it would track with the guy who's like, like, I've got my 12 o'clock.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm wondering, is there a way to make this? I mean, I'm sure there is, because the scene's bad. But like, is there a way where it can show that there's too much red tape, too much bureaucracy, and Kingpin has found a way to get rid of it, or at least Kingpin finds a way to expedite the process.
Right.
And maybe he cuts through some.
Red
I don't
tape,
know.
if you will.
Or like maybe there's a scene where he sits down and he learns why it takes so long to fill a pothole. And they're and like he gets his fixer person, the British fella.
I'm
I don't
just
know.
a bill on Capitol Hill.
And he's like,
so
tell me why does it take 6 months to fill one pothole? And he's like, well, Mr. Fisk, we got to deal with the city hall here. We have to. It starts with getting a thing, and then we have to go over here, and we have to talk to the unions. And
there are permits, sir.
Yeah, there are permits that need to be. And maybe he finds some way to like get it like streamlined quickly. Or another option is maybe Fisk creates a fake issue and acts like he's fixing it in front of publicly.
These both sound more interesting.
Like something like he actually staged a traffic jam.
Right.
With his own people slowing things down, and in front of everybody, he's like, "Get this shit done," you know, and everyone just sees that and goes, "Oh my god!" And it's not, and it's just all
political theater.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That would have been neat too. He's manipulative, and it would be a sort of return to form for Kingpin.
Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of like famous New York City mayors and New York governors who have been like almost like the strong man, like powerful. I don't want to say characters, but these like almost like a Putin, where they have gotten things done through ties with the mob or XYZ, where they've gone through like shadier avenues to accomplish these things. Like there are real life examples of that in New York in history, and I'm surprised that they have not like leaned more into that so far, if that's the character they're trying to portray. Yeah.
I mean, I really don't got much else to cover other than I think there's some good stuff, but the bad is so far for me outweighing the good.
Yeah.
There's that guy in that last episode that just keeps stealing, and I don't know why. I don't know why he exists.
That man
cut
loves
all that.
His fiddle faddle.
Cut that. Cut it out.
Jack.
What's the point of those? That's half of the last episode. Get it out of there.
Could you imagine doing 30 days in jail over 5 boxes of fiddle faddle?
For the first time, that's fine. But the 11th time, you deserve to go away for a while.
Why are you still stealing fiddle faddle?
You're not gonna change. You've obviously not gonna change if it's the 11th time, and you're obviously a shit thief.
I'm saying pick your
spots. You keep getting caught.
Steal some eggs, for God's sake.
Steal some
not
bread.
Not popcorn.
He's like stealing bullshit, and then he's acting like it's the system's fault. It's like, so weird.
He got 5 boxes of Bazooka Joe. Like, get something of consequence. When
the first scene with that is the 2 cops eating his cereal when he's like handcuffed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're doing a thing where they're targeting him because he's a person of color, or there's something going on. The cops are crooked because we know this.
That's been all the
cops are crooked.
Yeah.
But the cops being crooked have nothing to do with that scene. He's just a thief, and he keeps getting caught. And then he's demanding Maddie.
No, probation.
I'm getting probation, man. That's always what it is. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe he deserves.
I love making demands of your free lawyer.
Why is Maddie even representing him?
Right.
Did he get like a
pro bono? I guess I would assume.
Why would he? He knows the guy's lying. Like, he even says, like, look, you did it.
Yeah.
All right, just fucking take the 30 days or whatever. Right. Especially like at this point, Maddie has because the guy even like it's like they assigned him. Because remember at jail, he's like, oh great, I got the blind guy.
Right.
Which means Maddie got assigned to him. He's like doing low-level Saul Goodman work.
Yeah, I assume he is somehow. I don't know how like pro bono like, but usually there's like a court-appointed lawyer for cases like that.
Right.
Now, how that works with him also having this private law firm with Smiling Lady.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think he would be the type of lawyer that gets assigned to that sort of like hey, here's your public defender,
right?
You know, or whatever. It doesn't make sense.
Right. No.
He's got his own practice.
Yeah.
Once again, it's one thing if Maddie just happens to overhear the case and realizes the guy is innocent, and
no,
that's when Maddie gets
like he sought this out.
That's when Maddie gets involved and goes, "Oh, this guy's actually fucking doing." He did that with White Tiger. He specifically got involved because he knew Hector was telling the truth about everything. So this guy makes no sense. It's half the episode, and I don't see what the point is.
I guess caramel popcorn is that good.
I mean, I like caramel as much as the next
risk
man.
It all.
Well, then Maddie even makes a statement. He's like, "We're about to send a guy to jail for stealing $5 worth of cereal or whatever." I'm like, dude, he's a bad guy. He keeps stealing.
He wanted dessert, dude. But also,
he has a whole monologue.
Get a better dessert.
He has a whole monologue about wanting dessert.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
We all want dessert. I'm just questioning his choice of dessert.
I did like when we're getting like a return to form Kingpin, and instead of eating like a little tiny piece of toast and fish, he's just eating a big old pile of rigatoni.
Yeah.
It's like a big old
season, bro.
And he's got a glass of wine there. He's no longer drinking his high noon or whatever.
The echo wore off, I guess.
The echo power is just temporary.
Yeah.
It's like the Magneto cure or the X-Men cure. Remember, it wears off because Magneto got his power back eventually.
How much of this, though, do you think is... Are we judging this more harshly just because of superhero fatigue or...
No, all these complaints,
Disney Plus
it's still like the best...
XYZ?
It's still the best Marvel show Disney has.
Oh, yeah, I actually agree.
Which is a very low bar.
The last episode, a lot like... Especially, like we said about the Punisher-Daredevil interactions, the Fisk kind of getting his groove back, even though like I said, I've had issues with his performance choice overall... I'm still like, okay. Yeah. I'm listening.
I figured we were going to get a good payoff with his bloody knuckles, and I was like, is he beating the the guy who banged his wife? Like, you're watching. How did you feel about the show so far? What's your, out of a 10, what would you say you're giving it? So far. This isn't your final review, but...
No, so far, like, it is hard for me because I feel like I'm running into some issues where I'm just not as interested as I used to be. And... I'm sure there's a variety of reasons for that. So
could be a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of...
Fatigue, for sure. 100%.
Lack of good content.
And I do think, like, all in all, Marvel, if they're doing this big interconnected universe, maybe just needs to throw a reboot or take some time.
My theory is they're definitely planning on doing that after what's it, Secret Wars?
Yeah.
I think Secret Wars is just their excuse to say, look, we're really sorry for the last two phases.
Right.
Here, we're going to start everything new. We're going to have the X-Men in there. You guys like the X-Men.
Remember Wolverine?
Here's a new Wolverine. Yeah. Here's a new Iron Man. Well, we're going to redo everything, you know. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. They're going to. I bet they're going to rush to Secret Wars. I bet they're like just going to try and let's get there.
I think it's next
Let's get there and do it. Yeah. Oh, Secret Wars?
I think so.
So they just skipped over the Kang Dynasty because that's not happening anymore. They're just going straight to Secret Wars now.
I think it's next year.
Man, they're not giving this evil Doctor Doom any chance to breathe, are they? They're just gonna throw him at us and be like, "Here you go."
We'll see.
Yeah,
but I do feel bad for like I think Charlie Cox does a great job. He's an exceptional actor. I wish they had gotten a movie or like HBO had gotten their hands on the series instead of Disney Plus. Like,
well, him and Vincent D'Onofrio apparently are part of the reason why they cut like they did all those reshoots.
That's
because apparently they went
fantastic.
into somebody's office and said, "We're not. This is ridiculous. This is
Apparently,
insane."
Bernthal said he was out after seeing the script.
How bad? How bad was that original script? Like, and I don't think this is that great to
I would
begin
give
with. So
this,
now I'm wondering,
like 5 or 6 out of 10 so far, because there's enough redeeming things in there for me to just be like.
I would say
pure
for me
hate,
it's about a
like-
4.
It's
It's below average,
Yeah.
but it could get better, I guess. I'm interested in seeing what happens here with Muse.